live because once again, technology only works so well when it kinda works and it kinda whatever. I'm David Solomon, and I'm here with my good friend Stuart Brisgell every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, noon Eastern live. And what we love to do is to rant about stuff. If this is your first time on the Rant Network, and we're getting a lot of new people coming on board, we love to talk about the stuff that just, the news doesn't want to go there, especially the liberal media. And today is a great example of where the liberal media is kind of worried about burning their fingers. And that's Sam Bankman Fried. In case you missed it, folks, Mr. Fried, Bankman Fried, I should say, was arrested in the Bahamas after he agreed to testify virtually with Congress about the fiasco on FTX. Now, the timing of the arrest is interesting because it happened yesterday when he was supposed to testify today. Stuart, I love to say where there's smoke, there's fire. And in this case, I'm not sure if we've got a little bit of ambers or a massive inferno. What say you on this, man?
Well, first of all, let's just start off by saying we have consistently for the last 2 years talked about the Wild West called digital currencies. And we're on the record saying that, Beanie Babies have more value than digital coins because they don't swing 30%. We also spoke about Mr. Bankman Fried not more than 2 weeks ago. And to be honest with you, we said unequivocally that this guy needs to be arrested, this guy needs to be indicted, and that this guy is obviously another Bernie Madoff, Jeffrey Epstein kind of guy at an epic proportion, equivalent, but maybe even larger to Bernie Madoff. And there's no other way to feel the pain unless you were in for these millions and billions of dollars. There's over 1 million creditors alone that have surfaced in FTX. There may be countless more that are part of that million. So that million is going to turn into another million, to another million, to another million. And we're going to end up having probably about 20 to 30 million people directly affected by this egregious misappropriation, loss, theft, conversion, converted, whatever, the indictment, which are 8 counts. What I do find interesting, they didn't indict the girlfriend. They didn't indict any other executives. They didn't indict the mother, the father. Their hands are all touching this whole thing. There's a lot of people whose hands, but they rushed to indict someone before he willingly was going to speak and be grilled in front of Congress.
Oh, now, hold on. But there's more than that, Stu.
No, well, hold it. But let's just understand this. If a man is willingly going to speak in front of Congress and he's going to make a statement, be asked questions, make a statement, ask questions, he may have taken the fifth after a statement, but he may have also been asked questions that maybe not everyone wants to hear the answer to. Because think about it. If he turns up dead before he goes to trial, then it's another deep state, it's another Hillary Clinton type scam. Because the only reason why you would prevent a guy from chirping away is that the Southern District was pushed to get an arrest now and to silence him. There's no other reason for it. The speed in which they arrested him isn't equal to any other arrest in the history of the SEC Southern District. They are the slowest operation. Now, listen, they do great work. They have an incredibly hard job. But people have been shouting from the rooftops, this is too good to be true. But the regulators can't do what we want them to do at the speed we want to do them. Justice is slow. So how did the Southern District want to race to get this done? What is their motivation, David?
Well, Stuart, I got to tell you, this is where I'm finding it funny. Because one of the things that they commented about Bankman Fried is that he loved to give political donations. Now, of course, my friends on the left, please, I know what you're about to say. Bankman Fried gave it to the Republicans and he gave it to the Democrats. Yes, he did. But let me share with you the difference in the numbers.
I love
Apparently,
numbers.
Bankman-Fried gave a couple $100,000 to Republicans. He gave 40 million to Democrats. That's a
I,
big chunk of change.
you know, the only person that rivaled his donation was George Soros.
Right. So here's and which is insane to think. But here's the thing. Yesterday, our favorite, press secretary Jean-Pierre Karine, who has done nothing but play deflect the Teflon president, when she was asked yesterday, will the Biden administration return the Bankman-Fried donation? And she refused to answer the question. And so here's the thing. It's known, this is the accusation, I shouldn't say it's known, it's the accusation that Bankman-Fried took people's investment money, put it into his other company, and then redispersed it, right? And through Alameda, he redispersed it. He gave donations with that money. So in essence, the Democratic Party helped and abated a criminal to steal from investors. So the question is, Stuart, will the Democrats return the money? Republicans too. But
I think that it's got to go one step further. I think the trustee has to claw back all those donations, or they may actually be a co-conspirator in allowing for this to happen. And that goes for the Republican side too. All of this money needs to be returned to the trustees and redispersed to the people that actually are owed the money.
But Stuart,
making a donation to a not-for-profit charity like Planned Parenthood, like Save the Earth, doesn't put the money back in the pocket of that middle American that took a gamble for a better life. Now, it was stupid, and we've talked about how stupid this is, but it doesn't matter. If someone's willing to trade more for a better Beanie Baby, then let them do it. It's their own stupidity. But to take the money for a political gain, I'm sorry, David, that money needs to be clawed back. And I hope the Southern District sees through this as a possible, oops, maybe I need to cut that money back.
But it's interesting because Jean-Pierre Karine yesterday said, listen, I'm covered by the Hatch Act. And I sat there and I went, the Hatch Act? What is she talking about, the Hatch Act? And essentially, it forbids the intimidation or bribery of voters and restricts political campaign activities by federal employees. Except, do you know who's exempt? The president and the vice president. And so here I'm saying to myself, so no problem, no issue.
Yeah. So the problem with this whole issue goes back that the regulators are not equipped to deal with this. And the Hatch Act is a 1939 amendment, right? And that's not also able to keep pace with this digital economy and digital world. This world is moving faster than the rules and laws that are there to protect us. And that is a massive issue.
But Stuart, this is what I'm trying. This is the thing that irritates me is that the Democratic Party once again likes to tell everybody they're the party of values. That they're the party of values, and the Republicans.
Yeah, but that's a lie. Nixon's the party of the economy. Nixon's the one who did all that, not John Kerry.
We know that both sides are just as complicit and just as guilty, and I'm not picking one or the other. Just don't wave your white flag, and don't wave yourself as being this great person. The truth is that right now, Bankman-Fried, his arrest, while he was supposed to go and testify in front of Congress, very interesting how there was suddenly a gag order. Okay, it took forever to go into Trump's home. Here, like you said, no problem. Let's go shut the guy down in the Bahamas. They didn't even extradite him. Whatever. They got the Bahamian police to go arrest him. I'm curious as to how all of a sudden such a touchy thing was so expedited, as you clearly had said. Did the Democratic Party once again poke their nose in justice. Once again, get involved where they should not be involved. We've seen this a few times. We've seen this right now with Twitter. We've seen this with Trump. We've seen this with a lot of things where the Democratic Party, the administration, gets involved in justice. Interesting. That's okay. If that's the case, if his tentacles have reached that far, he reminds me of a few other autocratic leaders who've decided that the justice system, that all of the systems must serve the president and his party. That's interesting, no?
David, like we said in a previous rant last week, elected officials have to be held accountable, and we have to address their accountability. And this Jean Pierre, who obviously lies through her teeth
Well, she's
and is
paid
so
to.
full of crap.
She's paid
What?
to. She's paid to lie through her teeth. She just spews whatever.
I understand.
You heard she
but-
she reads the wrong answers to her question. She's got her cue cards there. She knows what she's supposed to answer to these things.
David, again, we're wrapping up.
Look, but yeah, Stuart,
midweek.
here's my thing. Well, here's my thing, okay? I heard a very interesting comment this morning that this entire thing with FTX has nothing to do with crypto, but has to do with corporate standards, corporate controls, everything falling apart and whatever. And yes, they were calling it, like you said, the biggest Ponzi scheme since, Madoff. And I understand and I get all that stuff, okay? And yes, there is a lot of criticism being flung at anybody who is involved in crypto. And I know we have said in the past that we're not in favor, we're not lovers of crypto. This is our personal opinions. What you invest in is your issue. Crypto continues to get exchanged. Yes, there are bankruptcies, whatever. But this is to show you the volatility of this investment without the corporate controls. And again, who let this happen? Well, someone had to have let this happen. And when you get 40 million, when your party gets $40 million, you have to ask yourself, why? Why?
David, listen to me. If you break down the donations, right? And if you broke down how these regulators and these definitely politically motivated people literally, try to warm people up to an unbacked concept. Protect Our Futures got 27 million. House majority for the Democrat got 6 million. The GMI PAC, which is also 2 million. Americans United, that supported 1.3 million. The SNP, 1 million. Democratic Party. It goes on and on and on. It's on and on and on. I'm reading it. Protect Our Future spent more than 10 million backing unsuccessful candidates in the Democratic primary seat in just Oregon. Why did they give $10 million to Carrick Flynn? Karen, all these people that are listed, it's all public record. We as the people have to demand that they return these funds from their coffers. These monies must be returned.
Absolutely. 100%. And you know what, Stuart? What ills me and what pains me is I don't know who invested in this money. But we've seen with Bernie Madoff and we've seen with other schemes, it's really unfortunate, weak, financial retirees, a lot of people who've put their money into, all these type of investments to try to grow it. And at the end, they got screwed. And who wins at the end? Joe Biden and his cohorts. Okay, we talked about how ugly it is with Pelosi. We talked about how ugly it is with other things. AOC, how she reaps all these Democrats who are reaping the benefits. No remorse, lots of silence.
But on closing, I just want to leave you with this remarks. As the Republicans get control of the purse strings, and they now want to do all these hearings and all of these, big grandiose trials. I got to tell you, if they don't put handcuffs on people, if they don't expose this, and
Then don't waste our
force the
time.
system
Don't
to
waste
work,
our time. Don't waste
then
our time, please.
then they're just as complicit as their counterparts. And you know what? The divisiveness is because the failure to act, the failure to complete, and the failure to represent we the people. David, that's the end of
Stuart,
our quarter hour.
we're done. Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't catch us live today on Facebook, that is Facebook's glitch. We will post this later on. And so you will have a chance to watch it later. And please download it on your favorite podcast. We appreciate the thousands of people who have been downloading our podcast recently. We love you. We thank you. Keep on going. And we look forward to seeing you on Friday. Have a good week, everyone.